Okay, people, this is a video that I don't really want to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because my life is like hanging on a fucking thread here. I can feel it. Like, you don't know. First of all, I think it's Halloween, October 31st of 2021. Now, I don't want to drag this out too long. I just want to do an update on this. First of all, let's start with the water tank. The water tank blew its fucking gasket or whatever it blew 8 days ago. It was Saturday. Today's Sunday. It's been 8 days, okay? I still have no hot water tank that's producing. I have a hot water tank, but it's disconnected from the gas because they were having a problem with the gas valve. Remember I told you I bought myself a gas sniffer? Okay, because of the shit that was going on downstairs for hours and hours and hours with my laundry room smelling like fucking gas, with everybody down to the ground with their nose to the fucking gas pipe. Okay, needless to say, it stressed me out. All right, so here's the gas sniffer. You take this and you put it all around, right? And what it does is it picks up gas leaks. All right, do you see that? I can't remember what it cost me right now because I'm so stressed out. All right. I was going to give it to the dude that is being inconvenienced right now with having to switch the tanks around because he didn't think I'd get a new tank, right? And I said, well, no, you're not going to get a new tank. Because I told him, no, you're not leaving. I don't want that tank. It's just something about that tank I don't need a defective tank. Oh, well, it's just a part. No, my landlady's paying for a high quality product. It should come in fucking in working order, right? We've been through that, okay? Oh, you can try, but it's not going to work. Anyway, when he showed up 2 days later with his little box of parts, I said, no, it's been approved. You can take that back to Home Depot and exchange it. He thought he could just rip off the fucking tag, take the tag in, and come back with a new tank and then switch him around. I said, no, that's not what they said. They said you have to take the whole tank in and they'll give you a brand new tank with a whole new number. But he wanted to make sure that the warranty was still active on the new tank, which we would assume that it would be because it's a straight exchange. But that was the excuse to not do anything until he confirmed it. And I said, oh, and when he came back, people, it was dark and it was piss pouring fucking rain, okay? And I said, look, I realize that it's an inconvenience for you to take it, pull it up, take it back, come back with a new one, do whatever, but at least, it's all good to go for everybody involved when it comes to who lives in this house and what my landlord's paying for, okay? I said, with that said, because he came back on Thursday, right? I said, you can come on Saturday or you can come on Sunday because I realize you're working. It was pouring rain, right? It rained all day Friday. The last thing these guys need to do is be right back and forth in the pouring rain with these fucking water tanks. Okay, yesterday, I actually got out in the yard for a little while, people, because I got to get cut up with the yard, right? Because we know how that rolls around here, okay? So, did they show up? No, they didn't show up, people. What time is it now? Going on 1, 2 in the afternoon? Have they shown up today, Sunday? The weather is good? No, people, they haven't shown up. So it puts me into 8 days now without a water tank. And clearly they can exchange it for a new one. But you see, that's not the agenda, okay? There's something else going on. I don't know what it is. But anyway, we know I got the gas sniffer now. Plus, I bought 2 of these from all the stress, people. Okay, this picks up gas. Okay, this is a carbon monoxide detector and a gas detector. I bought 2 of them, okay, because of this, what's been going on, all right? So, right, whatever, they still may show up at 3, 4 o'clock. Doesn't matter to me as long as they switch it, right? Right, it's only fair, right? Right? If it would have been a reputable gas company installing a water tank, or like a reputable water tank company, whoever installed those things in terms of a reputable company, it would have been fucking done by now, right? But I don't know. So anyway, okay, I'm trying to, stay true to my word. I'm not bothering my landlady. I'm letting these guys figure it out when they have time to come between Saturday and Sunday, because it's been a week now, people, right? and nobody's coming. Anyway, I have to go out tomorrow for a little while. So, I phoned my landlady to let her know that she needs to come and get her rent before noon. Versus coming at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? Come before noon, and then I'll give her her rent. I always pay her rent on the first, people. Always. Because my son doesn't get paid sometimes until late in the evening on the last day of the month. That's just the way it's been. So, it's always been paid on the first. Right? Anyway, she calls me up because I called her and she didn't answer her phone. I didn't leave a message because I want to know if these people that are dealing with this gas tank situation have talked to her about what's going on. Because nobody's saying anything to me. I'm just sitting here with no hot water, okay? And I'm just managing, I'm trying to be patient, right, people? Anyway, she calls me back and the first thing she's asking me is if she can come for the rent today. Today. And I'm like, well, no, I don't have it. Apparently my son had his, but Tisha's not here today, so I don't have hers. This is my son's. Normally Tisha gives me hers a little earlier. If she would have gave me hers a little earlier, I would have had it today and it wouldn't have been an issue. But I can't guarantee it to be at the last day of every month, because sometimes my son doesn't give this to me until 9 o'clock at night on the last day of the month. That's why it has to be paid on the first. Normally, it's not an issue for when on the first to come get rent, okay? But for whatever reason, it was today, okay? And then she goes, oh, well, I'll come in 2 days from now. In other words, she'll come on the 2nd. And then next thing I know it, her son's on the phone. I go, who's this? I'm thinking she's with the water tank guys. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, this is her son, the one that dropped off the turkey. And I'm like, oh, right? Because he was quite pleasant on that day. A handsome guy, right? Shook my hand. It made me feel, I don't want to say safe, but made me feel comfortable. Anyway, I hate to say it, people, but he just kind of cut into me. Well, they're elderly and it's hard for them to get around and rent today. And I'm like, no, it can't be. It never has been. It's always been on the first, but I got things I have to do and well, they said on the second day, and I'm like, yeah, but they can come before noon. Well, you're just going around in circles, and he hung up on me. And I'm like, whoa! Like, what the fuck did I do? Never got to talk about the water tank. Right? All I can think about, people, is I'm being gang-stalked by a fucking Punjabi men. Groups of Punjabi men. This guy over here, now, the one that's doing the water tank, I gave him my fucking YouTube channel, so I'm sure he's watching this. And I also wrote on that little piece of paper that a warrior who has nothing to lose, a warrior, a real fucking warrior who has nothing to lose, will be the one who fights the hardest. And I wrote that down just simply because of what our governments are doing to the general population, including his people. Like I said, since this all started with Dr. Death, Dr. God, whatever she is to you, a.k.a. Dr. Bonnie Henry and her cohorts, my landlady has been sick since then. In the last 6 or 7 times that I've seen her, or talk to her on the phone. Talking on the phone too, people, pushes it to 8 or 9 times, including the times I've seen her over the last several months. There's only one time that I can think that she looked like her good old self, as Uncle John would say. Every other time, you can hear it in her voice when she's on the phone, and you can definitely fucking see it when she comes for rent. Is that my fault? Because I'm white? No, it's not, people, because poor white trash has the same fucking problem in terms of being infected with something that could quite possibly make you permanently sick. Some of us are getting saline, some of us are not, regardless of the color or the ethnic heritage of the individual. Because there's that lady that was up at the corner store with her mask on, clearly sicker than a dog, right? And was scared and made sure she told me that she got her whatever, right? And that she was just had the flu now after the fact, and that she was real sick and she couldn't sleep. And her eyes looked like she had raccoon eyes, okay? But that was after she followed through on the protocol. There's coincidences and then there's no coincidences. If you go outside the box and you do your research in regards to other countries, all this is the stuff that I was trying to tell these young men as they were working on the gas tank. It was nothing personal. It was for their safety and for the safety of their family and for the safety of their children. And if they didn't want children, then at least, because who would want children in this day and age? It's scary. But at least for their nieces and nephews, right? And for their community, okay? It wasn't anything personal. I told him 100,000 Punjabis standing up and saying no would definitely put a fucking stop to things real fast in terms of legitimate documentation of the side effects and how it's I'm trying to be careful because I'm on YouTube, right? You know, informed consent with safety standards that have been proven versus being a guinea pig to corruption. Whoever is running that corruption. But for whatever reason, I don't know, so many people are in fucking denial, and the ones that are awake feel like they don't have anyone that's supporting them. And that's why I just tried to encourage that young man that, yes, you're a warrior, it's clear to see, right? And even though you feel like you've got nothing to lose, right? And you're just going to live your life until there's nothing left, and so be it. And well, right, at the end of the day, the warrior with nothing to lose is the one who fights the hardest. In other words, people are depending on you to stand up for the community, because not everybody can fight back, including my landlady. Okay? But in the meantime, I'm living in the here and now, and the here and now is this guy over here. Anytime he sees my landlady, he's always telling her to kick me out. Okay? I don't talk about it very much, but that's basically what's been going on for a few years. Because if they kick me out of this house, he told my landlady that he can rent this place out for more money for her. Right? Or better yet, just sell him the house so he can kick me out and then bring in his Lebanon, Siberian immigrants that will use federal funds to pay his rent. Right? Well, my landlady says, ask him to ask his crew that get up on the roof just to help with this little space back here. It's not a lot of work, people. But I'm thinking, how am I going to get up there and fucking do it for myself? Literally, don't be surprised if I don't do it, people. Assuming that I don't get kicked out for not paying my rent today. Because that's kind of how I'm feeling about everything. Because I'm clearly being gang-stalked by fucking Punjabis here. Right? This guy over here just wants to kick me out so he can rent out this house for more money for my landlord, as if he's my landlord's best friend. And then he can convince my landlord to sell the house to him so he can make even more money. And my landlords can get rid of the problem. Right? Because clearly they're not interested in helping with this little bit, even though they're qualified to get up there because they've been up there fucking doing roof repairs. right? They don't even want to help the fucking neighbor here, okay? They just want to see the house self-implode so they can get the dirty fingers into it, right? By any means necessary. That's how I feel. So because of that, it makes me feel like I'm being gang-stalked by that group, quote unquote, of Punjabis over there. These guys over here, no. That's another group of Punjabis that are nice guys. We got the pipeline to the fucking food here, okay? Not only do we got Pastor Granny, all right, and her network, but they got their own little network going on. So you put the two together, if worse came to worse, I'm pretty sure there would be food, right? Because they gave her like 6 pallets, whatnot. They're always nice. They're friendly, right? You know, they're respectful, right? They don't backstab. They don't sabotage. They don't fucking harass my landlord to sell him the house and all this other crap, okay? So I'm not picking on quote unquote Punjabis, but, right? Let's just hear the rest of the story. Okay, we know the warrior shows up. Well, he didn't show up first. You see, that's the thing. He didn't come, right? It was his dad and his brother who came, who had the mask on. And as soon as I seen them, I said, look, are you guys, you've been here before, right? No. But you see, it's like everybody can hide behind these masks now, people, right? Everybody's a fucking gangster behind their masks now, people. Okay? And I'm looking, and I'm like, are you sure? No, we've never been here before. This is our first time. Straight up and lied to my fucking face. How would you feel knowing that, right? After a couple of hours, you know, the masks are coming off and they're talking and I'm looking and I called them on it. Yeah, you've been here. You're the guys, the ones that did the fucking kitchen. You're the ones that did the light in my son's room that doesn't fucking work. You're the ones who said that you were going to come back and fucking help me with the lights, but you never did. But now you're here down on the ground sniffing fucking gas, telling me that you're going to come back with a part. Okay, well, that's not good enough. It's not good enough, people. I'm not going to get stuck with a broken fucking water tank. So I have to call my landlord up in 2 months from now and say it doesn't work properly. The water is coming out warm. It never gets hot. Oh, but I just fixed it. No. Yeah, you fixed it, but it's broke. Well, right? Whatever. Or it starts leaking fucking gas, people. What, am I supposed to go downstairs every fucking day going like this, looking for fucking gas leaks? I've been in this house for 11 years, people. I've never worried about fucking gas leaks until this all happened. The point is they're all running around with their fucking masks on, lying to me, telling me that they haven't been in this house, when in fact they already have. Okay? And then the warrior, we'll just call him the warrior. He shows up. Now he's got the gift of the gab. And I already told him, you'd make a good fucking salesman. That, if you ever want to do a career change, go into sales. Seriously, man. Right? You know, you got the gift of the gab. And yeah. So anyway, you know, he's gifting the gabbing on me, right? Trying to sell me this fucking water tank that I don't want. Okay? And I got valid fucking reasons, people. If they weren't valid, then I'd say, okay, but they're valid. And I made it where it was possible for him to fucking exchange it for a brand new one at the expense of the company. And I even cut him some slack, people, by saying, okay, Thursday, it's dark now, you got off work, I understand, you're tired, it's piss pouring rain out there, probably gonna rain on fucking Friday, I'm not trying to stress you out any more than being stressed out, right? I realize it's an inconvenience, taking it, right? Switching them around, and I apologize for that, but this is the right thing to do, not only for the house and the safety of my family, but it's the right thing to do for my landlord. Being that she's paying for it, because he tried to say I was the one paying for it. And I'm like, no, my landlord's paying for it. I'm the one that gets stuck with it. So just do the job. And so I'm waiting patiently, right? No water yet. No hot water yet, people. Okay? I'm waiting patiently. And I'm thinking, okay, yesterday, because he told me he was going to come on Saturday early in the morning. He never came. I said, okay, that's fine. I said Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, because maybe he needed a day of rest, right? I understand that, right? I was thinking to give him this as a gift for his time after it was in and everything was working. Because I'm not a bad person here, even though I'm being treated like a bad fucking person. Okay? right? Because what is it? What am I going to do with it? I can go buy myself another one if I'm really that worried after the fact. But as it is right now, I'm still going to keep this damn thing. Okay? I should never have had to buy it in the first place. But out of goodwill, good gesture, after the tanks were switched around, I would have just said, here, I know, you know, people probably don't appreciate you, right? People take advantage of you, right? People expect this, expect that. Never say fucking thank you in a real honest way. Here, thank you, take it. It's a gift for me. Just consider it an early Christmas present, like those spices for my kids. Right? Because I might not have it in December. Chances are I won't, but I have it right now, and I want to give it to you as a thank you for going out of your way to do a quote-unquote a good job so that everybody could be at peace. So that everybody could be at peace, right? Including my landlord, right? Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe they'll show up in a couple of hours from now. I'll let you know in my next video. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm being gang-stalked by fucking Punjabi men. Not these guys over here, okay? Those guys are completely at arm's length to whatever the fuck this guy is doing over here, to whatever the fuck this guy over here is doing over there, to whatever the fuck that guy with his fucking duplex that is the property developer is doing over there, and to whatever these fucking guys are doing outside of the warrior. Because he's just caught up in it all. Right? Doesn't know how to break free because he's confined to the religion and what's expected of him through family politics, right? And that's why I told him, you know, a warrior is one that has nothing to lose. They're the ones that will fight the fucking hardest. Don't fight for me. Fight for your fucking community. Fight for your mother. Fight for your father. Fight for your uncles and your aunts. Fight for your nieces and nephews if you don't want kids. Because honestly, I respect that with this day and age. Nobody should be having fucking kids until everybody pushes back on what Dr. God and Dr. Death and her cohorts are trying to ram down people's blood veins. Unless, of course, you want to be a cyborg. Unless, of course, you want to be connected to the fucking, what is it called? The cloud, whatever that means. Or to the satellites. Or if you don't mind going to the cancer clinic, right, in however long, and being, you know, more subject to experimental RNA, mRNA technology and CRISPR technology and all this other crap to figure out what the fuck is wrong with you. And whoever else you may know in your circle of family and friends, assuming that you didn't get just a saline solution, because that's what we're dealing with, right? Anyway, I never even got to ask what's going on with the water tank today, people. 8 days into no hot water, and I got the phone fucking hung up on me, being treated like I don't even pay my rent on time. When I've been paying my rent on the first for years. All of a sudden, it's this huge issue. And I'm gaslighted to make it sound like I'm going around in circles. In terms of, well, you can come tomorrow at noon. No, she said the next day. Okay, fine. And then click. I said to Tisha, what the hell? She said, well, maybe he's just worried about his mom. Right? You know, a little displaced anger taking it out on me. Maybe he's just worried because I'm worried, people. I'm waiting for the phone call for one of them to call me up and say, Mom's dead. And I'm like, what? Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. Because last year she was fine, people. You see, that's the thing. I'm a witness to that fact. Right? She likes to blame it on Pakistan. Going to Pakistan, came back with an itchy throat and has been downhill ever since. That's not true. She didn't go downhill until after she jumped on the bandwagon with what the government is expecting people to do in order to protect the community. Yeah, okay. I'm a witness to that. Okay? And it's very disturbing. Because they're in complete denial. Whether they just uneducated and don't want to be educated and like to keep their heads in the sand, just like with the organ harvesting, you know, right? I'm sure they know that they've got criminal activity within their ranks, illegally harvesting organs, wheeling and dealing on the black market so those houses can continue to be built and blah, 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 whatever people do with that fucking laundered money, I don't know. You know, but just pretending that it doesn't exist doesn't mean it's going to go away. And it sure in hell doesn't mean that it's not going to fucking happen to them one day. You know, because people like my family, we're just going to run out. The well is going to run dry. I've said that before. But then, of course, they're bringing in the immigrants to fill the fucking gap. Just as one dies in my family, they bring in a fucking family of 9 and set them up in these houses at the federal expense to pay the fucking mortgages. Well, that guy is still not fucking satisfied, harassing and stalking my landlady each and every fucking time he sees her, right? So that she will either kick me out and so he can do her a favor and rent this place out for more money so that she can get richer while he tries to figure out how he can convince her now to sell him the house so he can get richer. I mean, I'm in a web, people. Right? And I am like in the mindset now to try and figure out how I can wean myself out of this house outside of getting an eviction notice because I didn't pay my rent today. When in fact, I never pay it at the end of the month. I always pay it on the 1st. So why are you hanging up on me, making me feel like fucking shit? And then not answering the phone when I phone back asking to see what's going on with the water tank because I'm still waiting for that dude who's supposed to be a warrior, people. He's supposed to be a warrior. Is he really a warrior? I don't know. I'd like to think he is. Does he even understand what it means to be a warrior? They can put on their little fucking bracelets and all this other shit. They can swing their fucking swords around. I've got swords too, people. Talk is talk, though, right? You know? Do they realize what they're really up against in terms of global corruption? Are they prepared to fight for their communities and save their families? Or are they actually a part of it? And that's why the gang stalking is intensifying. Because I can fucking feel it. That's like Sierra being at the Surrey Memorial Hospital, okay? In the shower, sick, asking for help. And what does she get? Bum rushed with a bag over her fucking head, dragged out of the shower, and then God knows what they did to her after the fact. Oh, wow, that's really good health care, isn't it? Huh? But that only happens to some kind of people, right? Not everybody gets treated like that, right? Just like Shimei's body. That only happens to some people, right? That doesn't happen to everybody's body, right? Okay? Because it's just a body. Once it's dead, you know, who cares? Well, I still care, people. Okay? I still fucking care. There is no shame to my game. All right. I have no regrets doing this food storage because let me tell you something. Even if my landlords don't give me a fucking eviction notice because I didn't pay my fucking rent today and everybody's all up in arms over a stupid fucking water tank that should have been fucking put in the right time, like put in first, like right the first time. And if there was a problem with it, then they should have fucking taken it out and brought, right? It could have been that if that's what's causing the angst, the tiffy, the hissy fit, whatever. The anxiety, I know it's causing anxiety for me. I gotta wash my dishes in cold water again, right? Do sponge baths and shit like that, right? And try not to grovel, right? You know. Try not to get upset, right? Okay. The food that I bought ensures that my rent will be paid after Tisha moves out because Tisha's planning to move out soon. She's getting on with her life. She wants to buy a house. Okay? I'm not stopping her. But I'm also not renting out that room so that I can invite trouble into this house. And then go to my landlady and say, for sure, I can't pay rent. Because the fucking whoever moved in robbed me blind and did this and did that and moved in their friends and who knows. I'm not even going to go there with that. I told you I have a plan. I'm getting into my fabrics. I'm going to start measuring them out. I'm going to either sew them or I'm going to fucking sell them. One or the other. Okay? I'm going to work on weaning myself out of this house because I'm caught in a web. I have been caught in a web for a long, long, long time. And in that web, my family has been dying. Tisha says, Mom, I don't want you dying in this house. And I don't want to die in this house either, people. But at the rate I'm going, I will die in this house. So I have to find a way to get out before that happens. But it ain't gonna happen over fucking night. So I made sure I had fucking food in the house so that there will be no issues when it comes time to pay rent after Tisha moves out. Because I already got the food. Maybe you don't see the logic in it, but I do. Because I actually do respect my landlady and my landlord. Okay? And I've always paid my rent. But as it is right now, I feel like I'm being accused of not paying my fucking rent on time. When it's not that I'm not paying my rent on time. I just had an appointment I had to fucking go to tomorrow. Okay? And if she wanted her rent tomorrow in a timely manner, it either had to be before noon instead of 2 or 3, or she could have came by after 5 or 6 and gotten her rent. It didn't warrant hanging up a phone on me and treating me like I don't fucking pay rent or that I don't want to pay rent. As I'm being fucking gang-stalked by a neighbor over here just watching for my landlord to show up so he can say, are you ready to sell the house? I've got people that will pay $5,000 for that place. Kick the bitch out. Because clearly he's not interested in telling his dudes to help with the fucking roof. I asked those guys over there yesterday when they were out and about. None of them knew how. I said, fair enough. If you don't know how can you be expected to do it? But I'm expected to do it. I'm expected to go up that fucking ladder and do it. How does that work, people? And I'm not even a man. That's what a warrior is. Somebody that's willing to get up that fucking ladder sooner or later, because sooner or later, I'm going to do it, people. And when I do it, I won't fall off the roof. I'm a little worried about the fucking porch busting off because I don't trust the joints of the wood because of the water rot, and I don't know if it can hold my weight. But if it solves the problem with the water all over my garage and the stairs and all this other shit, but when that happens, I don't know. Because I have other things I have to do first. So that's kind of not a priority. But my heart's in the right spot. When you have nothing to lose, you fight the hardest. And right now, I'm not losing shit. Because I'm being gang-stalked by a bunch of fucking men that got fucking attitudes, basically. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Except for maybe that group of Punjabis over there, maybe just watching to see what happens. Who knows? Because I don't got no friends over there. And these guys, I don't know. If this guy doesn't fucking show up for whatever reason, whatever the excuse is, I don't know. I guess I'll be just sitting here longer without a water tank. And then I'll be accused of causing trouble. That's what will happen, people. I'll be accused of causing trouble. I shouldn't have been somebody not allowed to stand up for my spouse. I'm supposed to take the abuse. Remember that, right? We've been through this with YouTube, right? Right? YouTube's bitch, right? So anyway, that's what's going on. And I'm like, I want to cry, right? But I'm not going to. Right? I'm going to be brave. Isn't that what warriors are? They're brave, right? Okay? I don't hide behind a fucking mask making myself feel like I'm a quote-unquote man. All right? I stand up for my community, people. Including Punjabis. Even though they don't see it like that. Okay? They really don't. And if they do, you know, the few that maybe do, they're not strong enough as a few. There needs to be more than just a few. So I don't know. I don't know. British Columbia, Canada. I just don't know. I just don't know, people. So that's what's happening. Okay? I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 days from now. I just don't know. All right?